My name is Pat Naggiar, and it's Martin Luther King Day 2017. We were filming a story about civil rights, and we never realized what an important story it would turn out to be. I had left CBS at this time and was working for ZDF German television, which is nationwide in Germany. The police shooed away CBS and NBC and ABC, but they thought German television was harmless enough. So we were allowed to film the peace marchers being beaten up by white thugs. The police also used dogs and hoses on the innocent black marchers, following their civil rights leaders' orders to remain nonviolent. Dr. Martin Luther King had his first church in Montgomery, Alabama. He was only 25. The Dexter Avenue Baptist Church was in the heart of Montgomery, and there was a small sign outside, which he immediately changed to a big sign on which he had the title of his next week's sermon, "Is There Segregation After Death?" He got a visit from the chief of police. "Who gave you permission to change the sign on the church? And what do you mean, is there segregation after death? Are you trying to be funny or something?" "No," said the young preacher. "Of course there will be segregation after death. All of the white churchgoers are going to go to hell." In the 60s, Martin Luther started preaching about organizing a protest march against segregation. Black people at that time were not only forbidden to sit anywhere they wanted on buses, but they couldn't go to most swimming pools or parks or toilets or even use the whites-only drinking fountains. This was the law. It wasn't fair. And many white people thought it wasn't fair either. So they got together and were trying to find a way that they could change the law. In the spring of 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. was in Birmingham, one of the largest and most extremely segregated cities in the whole of America, to bring people together to change this law. Reverend King held a meeting at the 16th Street Baptist Church. He asked, "Who will risk going to jail for this cause?" While hundreds of people came to hear the famous preacher, it was hard to get volunteers. People were afraid of going to jail and being bullied. Martin Luther King tried once again to inspire everybody. We must stand up for our rights as human beings. Who will come with me tomorrow and march? There was a pause. Then whole groups stood up, but they were only children and teenagers. The adults told them to sit back down, but they didn't. Reverend King thanked the children and told them that although he appreciated their offer, he just couldn't let them go to jail. That evening, his friend said, "If the children want to do it, I say let them do it." But Reverend King said, "No." "Are they too young to go to segregated schools?" "No." "Are they too young to be kept out of amusement parks?" "No." "Are they too young to be refused a hamburger in a restaurant?" "No." "Well, then, I say they're not too young to want their freedom." That night it was decided to let any child who wanted to march go ahead and march. May 2nd was D-Day, the day the children were to take part in the protest march. And 1,000 children turned up, along with teenagers and college students. They were arrested and sent to jail. Some were put in open pens, and when it rained, the little ones started to cry to go home. So they were cruelly released in the middle of the night when there was no one there to meet them. Finally, there were more than 1,000 children in jail, and there was no room left. Awful things were done to stop the protests. Police dogs were commanded to attack and intimidate them, while high-pressure water was sprayed and used to try to disperse them. It was the beginning of ZDF in America. Klaus Harprecht was the head of the office, and Kurt Draves was the cameraman. Klaus had a particular interest in civil rights because when he was 17, he was in a prisoner of war camp and they were starving. Only the black soldiers threw food over the fence to feed them. Needless to say, we shared our film footage with all the networks. We were happy that German television could make a small contribution to civil rights. These pictures were first shown in Germany, then in all America, and all over the world. People said, how could children be treated like that? White people in Birmingham began to worry. The world was turning against them. The protest lasted a week, and in the end, thousands and thousands of people took part in the march, black and white. A short time later, the city was integrated. Nonviolence had worked. Today, a statue stands in Birmingham, honoring the children that took part in the march. And underneath it reads, "We ain't afraid of your jails." Thank you.